My panelists to our beautiful stage. Whenever you're ready, Carlos Melo, Creative Director at Main Guilty, Artur Soares, CEO at Designers Mint, Shadi Waniz, Director at Zebra KSA, Philip Gillard, Managing Director at Arquitectonica, I practiced this one, and Haitham Musa, Studio Design Director at KO Design, please. Wherever you like. Yeah, of course. All right, gentlemen. We only have a few microphones, so sharing is caring today. Did you get one as well, Haitham? No? Oh, all right. Here we go. I'm sure that the people will start to walk in slowly, but I just want to, stick to our schedule and let's just get started. Shall we do a quick round of introduction? Maybe you can share something about what you're doing on your day-to-day, or maybe something exciting that you're working on. Can I start with you, Philip?
Yeah, absolutely. Phil Gillard, Arquitectonica. We've actually just started, as of today, a new residential project in Riyadh, which is very exciting. So we've just had a very good workshop with the client. And Bernardo, who presented yesterday, is just flown off to Miami. So the rest of us are now going to get 2 days of sleep, which would be great.
Hello, everyone. I'm Arthur. I'm from Portugal. I have my firm there from Architectural Interior Design Studio. And we are here in Riyadh, and thanks for this opportunity for design talks. And today we was in Riyadh University, have some meetings with the architectural school, and it was nice. And let's see if we can create some partnership between Saudi Arabia and Portuguese schools, and it will be nice for both. I hope so. That's it.
Hi, hello everyone, once a time. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all that organize. Thank you all of you, all my colleagues, all the people here. I'm Carlos Melo. I am the founder and the creative director of Main Guilty. Main Guilty is a Portuguese brand based in our roots families, artistic root families. And this edition for me and for the brand, it's very special because I have the opportunity to have the person behind of my passion for art, for design, for manufacturing by my side. And this person is right here, is my dad, is my father there. Thank you so much for all the support, and it's because of him we create Main Guilty based in our roots families. His sculpture, more than 40 years of experience, so we try to connect our base inspiration in that. Thank you.
Beautiful. Welcome to you both.
Shadi Waniz. I work for Zebra Projects. We've been in the interior design business for over 25 years now. Started back in London, and we expanded globally in 6 other offices all around the world. I moved to Saudi last year with a dream to open an office for us here and be part of the vision of 2030, which I'm gratefully can say now that we're actually part of it. We joined some projects in Neom and Sandala Island, which will come to life very soon. And I think we're very happy with the outcome with these stores, and we're waiting to see them live. Thanks.
Thank you. Haitham?
I'm the last. Yes. So
But
I'm
not the least.
Haitham Musa. I work as a studio design director in KO. Myself with my team, we take care of the very initial part of all the projects that we do. So the conceptual design, visions, and pre-concepts. It's always good to stop by Riyadh, just not only for client meetings, but also to meet you guys and have some side chat in our interesting world of architecture. And thanks for having me here.
Of course, we are so lucky to have you here with us. Today's topic is about challenges. Now, each and every one of you, I'm sure, have our own challenges, and also you know, we all work in a different scale, on different levels. So let's see if we can maybe find common grounds. Maybe we can even come to solutions for some of the challenges, right? So I must say that this is your chance to dump all your frustration on the stage, and we'll see where we go from there, right? I've prepared some questions. I can just start with one. If you feel like you have something to say on this subject, feel free to pick it up, and we'll pass it around. Are designers being asked to compromise too much on creativity to meet client expectations and tight deadlines?
Well, I can start. What I think that in our stage we are not doing a huge and big projects by now, but what were the issues that we really have? It's about probably the new tools that the clients have. Something like Pinterest and another ones, and the client challenges with Arthur, I want to you doing my retail space, my houses, but I want something like this and with that, and if possible that here. And it could be a challenge because they have that issue. We create some mood boards, we create some concept boards, find the solution, and sometimes it's happening, Arthur, okay, it's lovely, but I keep continue on that and that and that. And that is a challenge because we have timelines and we have doing the things, and it could be part of the problem, but and the creativity usually now start to being controlled a little bit sometimes by the client creative solutions also.
Is that also because perhaps these days clients, they are, not sure if better informed is the right word, but more involved maybe, because I mean, I think design has increased so much global awareness. You know, we see it in the rise of, you know, kids who want to become a designer because it's cool, right? And then people, like, so we have more engaged clients than before who maybe do their research on, I mean, Pinterest or
Of course.
whatever.
In the end, the designers and the people in general have more access to information. The internet gives us that. And as a designer, we cannot forget the base of being a designer. In the end, is to find a solution. And we know that designers have to be creativity, but we need to know the limits to develop any kind of project. And the base is that being a designer is finding a solution. And if the client gives us that kind of limitations, we need to work with that. Okay.
Do you always accept your clients' limitations, or do you sometimes feel responsible of telling them that it simply cannot be done in this time and they cannot be stubborn?
I think the knowledge that the clients have currently can help us as well, because we can get them involved rather than just put their ideas and thoughts on the side. They come with images, but they don't know how to execute or how to come with a full concept. And I think from a design perspective, back in the days we used to start with mood boards, but now it's more about the narrative, more about the concept. And then if you start talking about your concept and how it's related to culture, how it's related to what's happening now, then you get the client more involved and open more doors for him to think about what he wants to do. And from that point, a collaborative work with the client, we can come up with something faster because we'll understand what he wants, and we can create something and convince him. If we build that relationship with clients, they will accept to move away from original thoughts. It's just you need to build that trust between you and the client, between a designer and the owner of the business.
That's also a little bit ironic, right? Because building trust takes time, but if you don't have time, that must be very challenging.
It is challenging, but again, we're not looking at what we're doing right now. As a business, for example, us being 25 years in a business, we have clients for over 18 years. We started with them back in the UK, and they come here, open franchises for different retail and F&B and stuff, and we're still working with them for 20 years. So yes, Exactly. You need to build that friendship. You need to put the time at the beginning to build that trust. Other than that, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I see. Philip, you also had something to say on the topic of timelines, right?
Absolutely. I think you've knocked it out of the park with the trust and the clients. But for us, particularly being in the region for a long time, you want to work with the best clients who support your DNA. And by that, I mean, you want us to do something, let us do it properly. You know, don't tell us how to do what we do. Because you also, as a designer, have to be authentic to what it is you want to do. You have to be genuine about not just the deadlines and the type of work, but how you do it. Because every project you want to be proud. Every project you put out into the ether, you want to have your name on it and other clients to see it and be excited, so that then you can be a bit more selective about who you work with, so that you'd hopefully have less of those challenges in the future.
I think as well, the last thing we want as designers is we do a nice design for a good restaurant and then it closes down after 2 years. It's bad for the client and it's bad for our reputation as well.
And also not sustainable. We will get to that later. All right. We're going to scratch the surface on lots of topics and then see. I want to see where the main frustration, where the fire really is, right? Okay. So has the obsession with staying ahead of trends in design led to a superficial industry that prioritizes novelty over meaningful, lasting work? And trends, take it as how it appeals to you. It could be from the trend of getting headline architecture and doing the giga projects and all the icons in the skyline to working with the color of the year. Like, how do you see it? How do you see it?
Right. So from the perspective, I'm not an interior designer, right? So just put my words in the right frame. I think it takes us always a bit of time at the beginning of the project just to explain the fact that trends will change every day and there are millions around. They will try to promote different trends. So liking something at the moment without thinking about the essential values of it or what you actually like about it. And in most of the cases worked because people realized that from the architecture perspective, you're not doing something to last for a couple of years. You're doing something that lasts for maybe 100, right? So trends and this stuff, everyone has, so it's very much commercially driven. I think every one of us would feel it. Even when we decide to buy something, you will be attacked by a lot of advertisement and offers and blah, blah, blah. So it's driven. Once you get this level of communication with your partners, your clients, in whatever form, things gets easier. That's from an architecture perspective, but I know that is much, much more challenging for sure in the interior design. You have a trend every half an hour, so...
Shadi, I'm pretty sure that you have a strong opinion on this as well, no?
Personally, and as a company, I believe that we're more into function over form because we work a lot with global brands and they have hundreds of stores everywhere. And imagine doing a retail store, something that looks very cool and the shelf is like 3 meters high so no one can see the product. It's the function at the end of the day. But this does not say that we don't try to do cool stuff or trendy stuff, but we have to be very mindful of the success of that design. That's the most important thing. There is a gap between being very trendy and doing a design development, for example. You can take a trend as inspiration, but you don't just apply a trend as a trend without any thoughts behind it.
What if your clients ask for something very trendy specifically? Where, as a designer, architect, do you draw the line and say, this is my integrity, I am not the right fit for you? How do you figure that out?
No, what I think it's, as we are saying, what is trend today, probably tomorrow will not be. So it's part of the process. The client will not, if they want a project, the project will not going to open tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So what I think it's usual trend. I think it's the part of the dots that should be linked. We have trends, but also, as Philip said, we have the DNA and the identity. What is I'm talking about, for example, in Portugal, is just that the spaces that is being trend. It's not probably the new ones with the most advanced technology. It's the cultural, the old things is coming trend by the new days. So what is important at the end of the day, I think so, it's the project gets a real identity, and after that needs a lot of work for sure, but after all, it could be a trend one. We have, for example, now the Lelo library. It's you go in there and you have a lot of tourists on the roads waiting for enter. And we are talking about how much time?
It's the oldest one. One of the
oldest buildings in Oporto. And now it's trend. It's trend because we have the social media looking. We have the again Pinterest, Instagram, and another social media coming for that. So trend probably cannot be only the color of the year and the material that we are using. It's a lot of points should be linked. I think so.
And can we, with a trend, create some product as a timeless? It is possible, because nowadays can be a trend. Probably in a couple of years, the whole thing has become a trend now. And in the past, that old thing that is now, in the past it was trend. When we talk about furniture, we can see a different kind of furniture. But nowadays, we are using more carving wood, for example, by hand, and that kind of process is a trend now. But in the past, it's usual. It's something that we need to take care, including the fast fashion, for example. We follow that trend, and the fast fashion needs to all the time create new designs, new product, but they cannot create a masterpiece in timeless. That is something that we need to think about.
Well, I think when you take fashion as an example, there is a market for it, right? There is a market for fast fashion. There are people who want to walk into, I will not mention names, but the stores that, I don't know, we've all been in, and probably everybody has at least one item from those stores. But there's a market for that, and there is a market for the custom one-offs, the whole poetic, takes 6 months to make a jacket, here you go, right? So, I think it's very, very much market-driven. I wanted to ask you, Philip, in your scale, like how is that with, I don't know, trends? Do they play a role in your work at all, or?
Well, it's interesting because Bernardo was talking yesterday about branded residence.
Yeah. And
I can't remember how long ago that became a phrase. 2 years.
Branded residences?
Yeah.
I just did a masterclass in Shanghai about the Middle East, and I can give you the exact statistics. There's 198% increase of demand for branded residence, and 58% sell out immediately in the ultra luxury market.
Right.
There you go.
So all of a sudden we have the trend or the relationship between Miami and the Middle East. I won't say Dubai, but the Middle East. And when we look at those brands, and you look at LVMH and all of the impact that's had on the retail scene, or you look at cars, or you look at anything else, and then suddenly that can become lifestyle. And you look at how far you can take that. It's pretty incredible. So I wouldn't say that's a trend or a fad or a sort of zeitgeist moment, but you know, you do go through those phases of style, you know, whether it's high tech or contemporary modern or whatever you want to call it. And I do think living in a experiential lifestyle moment in time where everything is so immediately available, that relationship between those brands and how you live seems to be very difficult to disconnect from. You know, whether it's the Apple phone, when we're going to see the next Apple residence, or the, you know, the Amazon watch or whatever, you know, everyone's doing it. So I do think that we do end up being compromised on some of those brand standards. But when a developer is looking at recommendations for those things, it's very difficult to sometimes pick one over another, you know, to say why this brand or why that brand, unless that developer or a client has a particular affinity or relationship. So, yeah, not sure about that one.
I mean, the branded residence is a very interesting thing. I would probably consider it as an emerging market, emerging sector, and there's probably also a lot to say about the gaming industry that we're going to have in Dubai. Maybe we'll get back to that later. I'm going to take to my next question, which is about innovation. So let's see if there are some challenges, frustrations in there. Is it possible to truly innovate while constantly meeting commercial and client demands, or does business success come at the cost of creativity?
Do you want me to take this one?
Go for it. It's yours.
It's the most difficult. No, well, okay, let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah, just share
you need to get the job done, right?
Yeah.
Which whoever said no would not be sitting with us here. So it takes us more effort to generate wheels and get trained. You know how the football teams get trained to the Champions League, and you know that they have the Liga, they have the Champions League at the same time. So instead of having one match a week, you know that you will need to play 3 times. So the key for that is that you have a team that very well defined in terms of principles and have a common ground. So first of all of us speaking the same language. There is a common architectural language that don't make you lose time. Second, you need to be, there's no time for comfort, I think, in every business nowadays. Every day there's something new, every day that you need to be always hitting the ground running. So big task of our daily exercise is to be aware how to make our wheels more ready and prepared to run fast. But at the end, every project has ingredients, right, or parameters, and the time is a huge factor of it. So the only thing that I can say is that we try to do the best we can with the time limited. However, in time with building with your clients, or in better words, partners, you define yourself with the type of offering with your work. So they will think with you how to give you enough time to get things cooked in a way that they like it the first time you work it with them. So being ready, being trained, having a good team, and also create confidence with your clients just to get a proper time to cook properly.
Thanks for sharing that and for being real also. I think that's exactly why we are here today.
Yeah.
You mentioned something really important. We have to stay aware. It must add so much pressure to your already demanding jobs to constantly stay agile, looking for how can we push, how can we innovate, how can we do better? How do you stay agile? How do you try to stay ahead of the curve?
I have something for that. As a company, we had the privilege because we're I can say we're a big size to hire the right people. As a designer, you don't work on your own. You usually work in a team. And hiring the right people, diversity in the team, that all help you out. Diversity in backgrounds, age, everything helps. We don't work lonely on our own. I don't have to be aware with every single trend happening in the whole world. But if I have in a team a 25-year-old just graduated 2 years ago, he or she will have more, she will be more exposed to trends. I might be more onto the awareness of the technical side to expedite the process. Other people in the team would be more into the side of it, the aesthetics. So it's the diversity in the team and then who you bring to the table to expedite the process. So for example, the challenge with the client who want to just go trendy without we have a branding team in the company. Sometimes we do strategy and we do studies and case studies to convince the client which way is the right way. We show him it's not only a study of the look of the business, it's the number of the business, how much do they make, how many stores do you have, and where is he going and where he wants to go, and then we do the comparison. So we're actually convincing him in his mind before he look at it with his eyes.
Any thoughts on innovation and staying agile, Carlos, from your point?
Actually, I agree with both. Hiring the right people for the right place is the best way to achieve the best results. But at the same time, I believe in the balance with young designers, the young generation, with the senior designers, for example. I think that mix can combine great, how can I say, ingredients to make the better job. Because sometimes the young designers can give the team or the company a different perspective to see the things, while the senior designers are through the right ideas. Is because of this we do in this way, so we will continue. No, the young generation can improve that kind of process.
So, yes, I do understand, and that's a bit of a common ground, that you want the right people for the right job in the place. So a lot of it comes probably down to talent management, right? But what if you don't find the talent here?
I think we have the talent here in our neighborhood. What I think it's very, very important, and as they're saying, it's you have that notes that should be linked, and also you have the project. And I think the client, it's when we're starting with the briefing, they have the main ingredient, because they want a project and they will shoot challenges. And also you have probably the senior designers that they have the knowledge behind, and you have the young architects and the organ designers that don't have the experience. But sometimes the brainstormings that we create with the young designers, it's also important, because they usually, when we are working and we have the most youngest people on the room, he or she said something outside the box, and that is we are starting. Probably this is not the solution, but they create a line for a solution, and the balance is very important on that case. So if you not find the talent, the world is coming for a big problem.
My point is there's nothing like, you cannot say you will never find a talent. There will be people within the team with initiatives, and they are promising. So, and over the years, you'll have to grow and support them to build that talent up. So if they have the starting point, you can just use this and get them involved in different type of projects, put them on different phases of each project so they can improve. But you have to find, people are out there. There's 3 universities in Saudi, over 100 people graduated every year. There's no way that you're not going to find 2 or 3 of them. You just need to help them and support them to grow that.
So you're also talking about mentorship, actually, right? Mentorship within the organization is what you're saying. Okay. Philip, do you have any thoughts on this subject? Fostering, nurturing talent.
Yeah, I
innovation.
think that there's also a slightly different angle, and we certainly take advantage of being slightly bigger and a bit more global to move the work around to where the talent actually is. You know, if someone doesn't want to be here and it's expensive, you know, et cetera, but that talent is available in Portugal, you know, I want to go there, or, you know, Serbia or wherever the talent is. And it often comes back to high unemployment, high technical skills, lots of youth unemployment, all of those sort of, let's not call them trends, but all of those, you know, characteristics that we face ourselves with these days. And, you know, that talent is there, you know, not just from the universities, but, you know, 20 plus years talent that's perhaps been discarded for no reason that you can suddenly, you know, find, and it's magic, you know. So, you know, those people that you continue to learn from, myself, every day, and, you know, then that helps you understand that when you are working with younger people, it's a rewarding process. It's probably the most rewarding thing we do, I would argue. You know, our work is great, I love our work, but seeing a young person get it, that's cool. You know, that makes your day, doesn't it?
Actually, I'm proud of that within Zebra. We had people in the company that have been with the company since graduation till now, over 15 years. So it's something that we actually focus on, like growing our own in-house grown talents.
I love how you make it sound so easy. Like, I mean, of course, the world is full of talented people. We need to find them. We need to, if we find them elsewhere, we need to convince them to come to this part of the world. And then what about the challenge? And this is maybe one for the business owners, right? When you do make decisions as such, there's always a lot at stake because you're going to bring someone from another place where they work at a different pace. And here we come down to timelines again, where we see also a lot of people who maybe have another idea about, you know, the Middle East, the speed that we work in, the long days, the crazy hours that we make. I know it's prone to our profession, but this is a total different beast, I would say.
Okay, so if you're limited to the Middle East, which I think in a while or in some years it will be very complicated. I mean, as business or even as design practice, you shouldn't be focused only on one location, because I think you will lack generators even of creativity through the project. So it will be difficult if you have a business only in the Middle East and you're trying to look for talent somewhere else. So for us, for example, I mean, in KU, the location of the project, while it's sometimes in Asia, some parts in Europe, Middle East, so there is a bit of balance between team, project locations, project requirements. So I don't know how it will be in the case that you're 100% in the Middle East. But let me tell you, just going back maybe one step backward to the question before about talents, maybe it's also related to this one. I think there is a famous graph in our practice that moving from creativity with your getting matured in architecture and facing more problems, you get more with critical thinking, and then you get to a settled place. But what holds this graph up is the passion, not much the talent. Because if I find in the Middle East a passionate architect, they will learn, they will grow within a team, and they can be the most creative one. But if they have a driver to their interest in the practice, I think you can, because architecture or design in general, it's not just, well, in a different belief, the one who has the best voice might not be a singer that we know. He might not even realize that he has the best voice. So I think passion is the main thing that we would be always looking for. And you need just to have some mentorship and create a place that attracts those people that you want to do more. But yeah, that's the thought about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Any thoughts on that from this side? No? Okay, then let me pick your brain on technology, because we have to talk about it, right? Yeah, you knew this one was going to come. So, technology, love it, hate it? What are your challenges? Is it difficult to stay ahead? Is it costly, difficult to implement? Give me your frustrations.
Technology on the process, or as you wish.
Wherever.
What I think
in communication, now, in the process, in how you sell, yes. Maybe.
What? No, it's not my favorite. No, but what I think now, as I'm, for example, I'm a teacher also in a school of design in Portugal, and I deal with some younger students. What I think it's a problem on the technology, if we decide to gap one step, because when we are doing on the process for design a project, it's important to get some rules. For example, we are talking about start with the idea, we have the sketch process, after that see if it's possible the results. And now with the technology and AI, we can do a sketch and try to generate a lot of solutions, and that cannot be good. And if we come back, not 2 steps back, but for the beginning of the conversation, sometimes we have the timelines and the process and the time for get a result. And if the designers start to seeing AI as a solution for get a quick solution, I think that technology could not be helpful, could be a big problem. Because it's that.
No, it's exactly what he said. Because in the end, I know all of the creatives want to put his personal touch in the end of the work. And if you use AI, for example, to develop most of the process, of course, we in short time. But in the end, let's say if we talk about the first question that you asked about, okay, now the market is growing faster and the client needs that in short period of time, and AI and technology can help to reduce the time of the process of thinking. But in the end, as a designer, as a professional, we want to put our personal touch. It's about that, because AI, everyone can use it. But our personal touch, only us.
From interior design perspective, last year we've done a lot of experimenting on use of AI within the office. We're not using it outside of the office yet. But the thing is about AI is not about the outcome. If you don't have the right narrative and you don't have the right text, you will not get the right result. So again, it's a designer thinking, if he has the right concept, he will get what he wants from AI. But technology in general, with all what we have from Autodesk currently, 3D Max and AutoCAD and all the additional tools that we currently have on all those programs, that definitely helps.
That create renders.
Yeah, we can actually express our ideas in a better way. We used to have, like 10 years ago, it was only visuals. Now we have fly-throughs and we have videos and we have VR. That's tools that help us to convince clients, help us to express ourselves better. It's actually a helpful tool.
Yeah, I think it could be a great tool, and to get some solution. For example, when we are searching, and it's another tool for researching. To get, if I have idea, if I wrote the prompt as I know it, by layers. It could be get some solutions that I get in my mind, and I can visualize that. I think it's when the problem say, okay, now it's here the solution, and the solution that one, and show the client and think it's enough, and in that perspective.
And we, as a designer, we need to take a word with that, because yesterday I met a businessman who asked AI to develop a brand, a concept, and the 3D products based in his waste wood. Okay, he's a businessman from wood, so they work with the AI to develop all the concept, design all the website, everything, and give him. He's here now. Try to sell it. Come on, where is the final touch? You know. Of course, it's very interesting the way everything can be done, but in the end, it's our job, it's our work to put that.
See, if we're going that direction, then we will reach a point where we can debate that the best designer is the best linguist, because in order to get your desired outcome with AI, your prompt needs to be so sharp. And if you're not a linguist, then, good luck with that, because it's not going to get you very far. Then that takes me back to education, and maybe you can fill this one in, Arthur, since you work with young students, as you said. Education could have never prepared us for what a lot of designers are doing today. You're experimenting with AI. I'm sure we've all done it. I love to play around with ChatGPT. But these are not the things that we learn in school, right? And I think this is day 3 now. We had a lot of talks talking about the soft skills that we need so much as a designer, listening, empathy, to resonate with our clients, for example. Where do you see that gap in education from your point of view, Arthur?
Yes, as you said, it's a new technology that is coming, and now we are preparing. I'm talking about, for example, in our schools, we are trying to introduce that. But I think, and in my opinion, sometimes in some meetings I said, okay, first I think it's we need to know how to use the technology to take advantage of that. Because if not, we have some students that start coming with playing with AI, and the result is, as I said, a mess. I think it's a new one, and also as we are creatives, we are all in the passion to learning new things. That is a new one, and probably the professionals with more age, not talking about you, but seeing that if they saw the rendering as a new tool and not losing that identity with the AI, we need to prepare that for the new generations. And I think the schools and universities, we're gonna need to take care and learn that process to introduce for the new junior generations, because for sure it's we can create some solutions quickly. You don't need to, when we are in different stage, when we are to show the client the final results, and we'll talk about 3D and rendering. By now, it's a huge, and it's very important for us, Crea and another ones, you can create a render in a few minutes. And 1 year, 2 years ago, we are talking about 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, it depends, rendering, and the machine stopped. Now, okay, we can see the final result, and this could be good. But now we are, I think we are all learning about how we can deal with that, and it's the part of the process.
How do you justify teaching them this particular skill set? Don't you feel like you may prepare them for jobs that don't exist anymore, or jobs that we cannot even imagine will be around in 10 years from now?
That is the reason why I'm not teaching that tools. And the coordinator always talking, let's talk about AI, let's talk about that tools. I say, why? If we don't know how to use it, and I said one time before to the guy, to the teacher, so you are talking, okay, let's learning how we can lose our jobs in a few years. Probably not gonna lose, because the human touch, it's always, the idea is coming from us, I think so. But I think we should learn how we can that tools could be really helpful for us, and after that we should start learning. I think so. Phil, don't agree
Yeah.
with me.
It's just on the education thing. Back to the age thing. I've been away from school. Last time I was in school, I was 25 years ago. I was in the era where the AutoCAD just started. So they prevent us at school to present our work on AutoCAD. We have to do the sketch by hand. And I think what education should be careful about is the renders is not the end result of the design. So if the designer don't know how to sketch, he will not be able to go to site and sketch on a wall to rectify or correct something that went wrong. So it's the end product is not the renders or the concept. The end product is going to site, being built, supervise it, and then the store or the restaurant is open.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying, like these last things that you mentioned, this is not really what we are learning in school. I don't know. It was not there when I was studying.
No, it
Going
is,
to site,
it is.
meeting
I have
clients,
in
pitching
my
for a
team
client?
Here, yeah, and in my team here, we have 2 people that just graduated from school 2 years ago. One of them sketched perfectly. The other is his own preference. Even to design, he just designed right away in 3D. That's an own preference, but they currently still stick to the origins, the sketches, drawing, all that stuff. And I hope they will continue doing that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to refer to the technical aspect of it, but let's say, and I work with a lot of universities, so I don't know, maybe you guys have a different opinion, but like pitching in front of the client, selling your work, selling yourself, going to site, having that real hands-on experience, I think there's still like a big gap with
But it's
real
all
life
communication. And for these, I mean, I, just to be transparent, I have a 9-year-old and a 25-year-old boy who, my 25-year-old works for McLaren Formula One esports. So he's coding, scripting. It's a different vocabulary. It's a different language. My daughter loves Japanese, but Japanese versus whatever the code you were talking about, it's a different language. It's a different form of communication. So, you know, yes, we use our language skills that we have to the best of our ability in front of our clients, but I think my son would go to site, take a photo, develop an app that then says, this is wrong, fix it. You know, using technology as a tool, as a means rather than the solution, doesn't change creativity. It doesn't change the sketching. It doesn't change. It's just a different form of communication, which means that those basics that we all have, hopefully, are never lost. You know, because that's something that it takes a lifetime of learning and growing and finessing to develop your craft. I mean, that's not something that you can get instantaneously in AI or the chip that he's trying to put in my neck to make me a technophobe or whatever, you know. So, yeah, I genuinely think that you could almost say technology or AI is a trend. What's next? What's the next thing after that? Because technology in and of itself has ramped up in the last 100 years, 150 years maybe. And it's on that trajectory that says there's something changing every sort of 2 minutes, I think. You know, it's something, or was it the amount of data in the world is doubling every 24 hours? Something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, you won't cope up with that. But I want to add something for the AI. It's very challenging, but it's also extremely potential. For the students, for example, as you were saying, they will always find the easiest and the fastest way. But if you start using without being a bit formed with a bit of critical thinking, it will be just number of possibilities. But at the end, you can't avoid it, because if you think about the definition of creativity at the end is linking things together. And that's why AI is much, much more advanced than us, because I can link 5, 6, maybe 10. But if AI can link hundreds and hundreds, the result will always be multiplied. So it's very good for all of us to have such tool, but still, it gives us more possibility to make a constructed or a constructive way of optimization and finding the right answer in the open pool that AI gives us. Now,
I'm just going to come back on that very quickly, because I love AI. It's brilliant. Part of the development of the human race has been making mistakes. If AI or technology is so perfect, we're not going to make the same advancements as we have to make mistakes. That's how, failing, whether it's Michael Jordan or me or whoever, not that I'm Michael Jordan, I'm definitely not tall enough, but, he didn't get 10,000 goals, but he made the ones that count because he didn't make 10,000 goals, So I think technology, if it's going to be so perfect, it will miss out on that fundamental human flaw of making mistakes and learning from it.
I think that's beautifully said, Philip. Thank you for adding that, the beauty of failing. We actually dedicated a whole panel to it. I think that's it's really important. Yeah, on the first day, I lost track. I also want to open it up to the audience. So I want to take one question and give you the opportunity to drop your challenge here on the stage. And I mean, hey, we're not magicians, but maybe we can give you some tips and tricks. Anyone with a question? With a frustration? With a challenge? No? Really? Okay, then I'd like to wrap up so that we stick in time for our next panel. Thank you so much, Haytham. Thank you, Shadi. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Arthur. And thank you, Philip. Let's give them a big applause, ladies and gentlemen.